you do have any type of an electronic communication device, if you wouldn't mind putting it on vibrate or silent, we would appreciate that courtesy. We always start with the Pledge of Allegiance, and we'd ask you to remain standing for a moment of silence. And I'll ask Loretta if you wouldn't mind leading us in the pledge.
I would certainly do that. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
If we could remain standing, we'll have a brief moment of silence. Thank you all. Vanessa, would you please call the roll?
Commissioner Spielvogel?
Here.
Commissioner Buick?
Present.
Commissioner Vogler?
Here. We have a quorum. We always have two opportunities for public comment, one in just a few moments, and then one before we adjourn. We would ask your questions or comments be related to county government matters. And if you could try to limit your time to around 5 minutes or so, we'd appreciate that. And feel free to make your comment either one time, both times, or if you're just here to listen, that's also just as fine. Under row officer reports and comments, we have none of our row officers with us. So what we'll do is open the floor to public comment or questions that anybody might have today. Hearing and seeing none. Once again, we'll open it back up before we adjourn. Under fiscal and contractual, we do have two warrant registers before us that have been submitted to us by the controller's office. And Brian and Loretta, I'll give you time that you folks need to look them over. And whenever you're ready, I could take a motion to accept these documents.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you both. Do either of you have any questions or concerns about the warrant registers?
I just checked. There was one check for $10,000 to Phil Fitzford. I checked with the controller's office. That's the district attorney purchased the vehicle with his forfeiture fund, so I'm fine with that.
It's nice too that he purchased it from within the county, like a local business person. Forgive me, I may have said it, and if I repeat myself, I apologize. These are dated May 4 and May 3. If I already said that, I apologize, but those are the dates of these registers. Any other questions or concerns?
No.
We'll ask for a roll call to accept them, please.
Commissioner Spielvogel?
Yes.
Commissioner Buick?
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thanks, Vanessa. The minutes of last Tuesday's meeting, which was held on May 2, they are also in our packet. And by the way, these documents are available if anybody wishes to see them. And Debbie, I'll give you my packet when we finish up today. But we do have the minutes in front of us. Whenever one of you is ready, we can take a motion to adopt the minutes.
I so move with one minor correction. The two young women from Wilmington Township School District that won the essay contest, the names are misspelled, but I'll get that information of Vanessa. So with the corrected spelling of those, Kinsley Shimrack and Annalie Gardner. Other than that, I move for their approval.
And I will second.
Thank you both very much. Any other comments or questions about the minutes?
No.
We'll take a roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Spielvogel?
Yes.
Commissioner Buick?
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thanks, Vanessa. Under written communications, we did receive one document that we can enter into the record. If the board is so willing, it's dated May 4 of this year. It is from Retu Company, RETTEW. They are based in Lancaster. They are an engineering and environmental consulting firm, and they are writing to us as follows. On behalf of Columbia Gas of Pennsylvania, notice is hereby given that a general permit number 11 registration will be submitted to the Pennsylvania Department of Environmental Protection for the above referenced project, which is the Jefferson Street MP expansion in the city of Newcastle. It states here the expansion project is for the replacement of a portion of a gas main with a 4-inch medium pressure, medium density polyethylene pipe. The existing steel gas main will be cut and capped to abandon in place. The project will require one stream crossing via HDD bore. And it is signed by Laura Hall, environmental scientist for the Retu Company. As has been noted in the past on matters such as this, the law requires that this board and other governing boards be made aware of this. We don't have any official oversight on this matter, but we will enter it as part of the record if my colleagues are so willing. So that being said, I could take a motion to accept this letter as written.
So moved.
Second.
And do either of you have any questions or comments?
No.
Thank you both. I'll ask Vanessa to call the roll, please.
Commissioner Spielvogel?
Yes.
Commissioner Buick?
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you so much. Under Commissioner reports, today Loretta gets to go first.
And I will defer my comments to when we get to the opioid funding that we're going to award for today, if so.
Certainly.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Burek, you're next.
No comments this week.
Okay, thank you, sir. And actually, I don't believe I have any either at this time. And obviously, if we think of anything, we can always take the opportunity to bring them forward. We're going to move on to new business. And Mr. Strobel, Chad Strobel, our Director of Public Safety, is with us. Chad, if you don't mind coming up so the microphone can pick you up, we appreciate you joining us today. And you have a proposal here. It's a professional agreement with McCutcheon Enterprises for based in Apollo, Pennsylvania. Could you fill us in on this and maybe what service or services that they would be offering to us?
Yes, we'd be entering agreement with McCutcheon Enterprises to respond to hazardous materials incidents within the county. One of the, duties, responsibilities set for the Department of Public Safety of the county is to provide hazardous materials response for the county. It's one of the few. But it has to be provided by a state certified hazardous materials response team. The financial burden we put on the county to have one for the amount of money it takes to run a hazmat team and maintain it, and two, for how many calls we get in the county, it's just not feasible to run our own hazmat team. So we contract, it's $2,500 a year retainer fee for McCutcheon, and then we set the cost on the responsible party if there is a response. So we just be entering into agreement with them that they are able to respond within 2 hours to any incident we have within the county and handle it. And it covers their requirement to maintain their certification, which is to have contracts or MOUs with counties saying they are needed. So this would cover both of us. We'd be meeting our requirement to have a team on retainer and their requirement to have contracts with counties to be able to respond.
Is this a renewal? Are we currently under contract with them, Chad?
Yes, we have been for as long as I've been up there, 17 years now. We've maintained a contract with McCutcheon Enterprises. So this is just keeping that current, renewing it.
Are you satisfied with the working relationship you have with them?
Yes, they're great. They're very supportive of us. Actually, my exercise coming up in the next couple of weeks, one of their employees will be there as our hazardous materials specialist. They're very active in our LAPC. Any questions I have, I just give Brian Feast a call. He was formerly a public safety director for Cambria County, so he understands my side of the table and the hazmat side, so they're great to work with. We've never had any issues with them.
That's very reassuring. Thank you. I'll see if Commissioner Spielvogel has any questions.
Yeah.
Commissioner Burek?
No questions.
That being said, Vanessa, what would be number this one?
137.
Thank you. This is proposed resolution 137. Anything else you need to add to what you've already told us?
No, sir.
Okay, I could entertain a motion then to adopt this resolution.
So moved.
Second.
Any further comments or questions? Hearing none, I'll ask for a roll call, please.
Commissioner Spielvogel?
Yes.
Commissioner Buick?
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Chad, we appreciate your
Thank you,
time.
Chad.
We know you're a busy man. If you have
Yes.
to head back to the public safety building, we understand.
You're ready for a tabletop here shortly.
Hope it goes well. Thanks as always, Chad.
If you need us, call.
I appreciate it. Have a good day.
Take care.
Thank you.
Mr. Grippo is here from CYS. Good
Let me
morning.
just.
Good morning.
Go ahead, Loretta. That's a little bit of an inside joke. I'm always glad to see you.
I am as well, but you know, just have to have a little bit of levity here. But
Understood. The inside joke is that Mike attends quite frequently, and more often than not, he says, well, this is the last time you need to see me. And then he shows up again, so, which we don't mind.
No.
So, Mike, this is proposed resolution 138, and this is a proposed contract with Cadence Care Network, parentheses, Homes for Kids of Ohio, Inc., from Niles, Ohio. I'll let you fill us in on
Okay.
what this involves.
So we have a paternal group. We have 2 children that we want to place with the paternal group. But she is certified foster home to Cadence Network, Care Network. And since she has her license, she don't want to leave that. So in order for us to place the 2 kids with the paternal grandmother, we have to go through them, get a contract with them to place the kids. And that's what happened.
And I'm assuming that in terms of bringing this to us, everything's in order, for lack of a better term. In other words, what you want to do necessitates this contract, but you folks all have a comfort level with how this is going to play out. Is that a fair
Right.
statement?
Once, and if the contract is approved, then we would do the interstate and get that going.
Have, to your knowledge, and if you don't know, it's not a problem, do you recall, have we ever entered into a contract with this organization
No,
before?
and
Okay.
we're probably never gonna use them again. It was just where, because she didn't wanna separate herself from Kate's Care Network, because she's a certified foster home. Now, if she would have broke away and got her own license, then we would have just placed the kids with them.
Certainly.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
But she wanted to keep that, so that's why we have to go through them to place the kids.
Understood. Mr. Burek, do you have questions?
I would assume that our state funding allows us to contract with providers in Ohio, West Virginia, since we're a border county, that's not an issue.
Through the interstate that we get approved. I mean, you know, we've had kids in Texas.
Okay, so we've done other out-of-state providers. Okay, that's my only question, no problem.
Thank you very much. Commissioner Spielvogel?
It just, again, as much as we joke about it, just shows the intricacies of the entire system where, you know, depending on each unique circumstance, there's something unique
Right.
that needs to happen.
Right.
So we appreciate you coming down. You know, we'll see you next month too. I know we will, because it'll be starting all over again.
Well, I don't know.
Contract
There might
renewals.
be a little, I don't know, there might be one more, but I'm not sure yet. I just found out today, but I don't know.
Just
You
email
better,
it
we
to
don't
me.
meet next week.
I know. It won't be next week.
Mike, just email it to me. I know it's coming, just.
Thank you, as always, thank you.
We have before us proposed resolution 138, and I would certainly entertain a motion for its adoption.
So moved.
Second,
Thank you both. Any other comments or questions? Hearing none, I'll ask Vanessa to call the roll.
Commissioner Spielvogel?
Yes.
Commissioner Buick?
yes.
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Mike, as always,
All right,
thank you.
Thanks, Mike.
Have a great day. The next item on the agenda falls under the jurisdiction of our planning office. And Amy McKinney, our director, is with us. This is a proposed resolution to allow the county to enter into an agreement with specific businesses for the facade grant program in the borough of Elwood City. And I'll let you give us all the specifics if you wish.
This is through the Keystone Communities Program, the DCD application that the county applied for last year and was awarded to do the Elwood City facade program. The applications are coming in slowly. So these are 3 applicants that were successful in providing all the required information. They were approved by Elwood City's committee. And the amounts are the Rooks and Books, which is on 517 Lawrence Avenue for $5,000. Guineo Law Group for $5,000. They're on 124th Street. And then Insurance Benefits of Pennsylvania for $3,112.50. That's on 716 Lawrence Avenue. The reason for the amount for the insurance benefits of Pennsylvania, that's half of what they're asking for. We have to be dollar for dollar. Brooks and Books and Divio Law Group, their total project is more than we can give them. So the maximum we're allowed to give any applicant is $5,000. So.
Well, thank you for that background. I'll see if Commissioner Spielvogel has any questions.
So this makes how many total? Six?
So 6, and that's what I was like thinking how much. So I think we're almost about $30,000 because the 3 we did before were 5, and only 2,000,
Mhm.
and then we have a total of $100,000. So we still have about $20,000. Yeah.
Which is great.
It's earmarked specifically for the borough of Elwood
Only
City.
for Elwood City Borough businesses. Yes.
Thank you. Commissioner Burek?
I think I know, just to confirm, it's the recipient has to provide at least a 50% match.
Yeah, they have to match it dollar for dollar. If their project cost can be more, we are only allowed under DCD's guidelines to give $5,000.
I think once the work starts happening on these places, you'll get a lot more applicants wondering what's going
I
on,
know, I hope so.
which is great.
We do have people calling and submitting that. I have one that they didn't submit all the required documents, so back to them. People are having issues getting quotes. We're requiring them to get 3 quotes from contractors or 3 bids of materials if they're doing the work on their own, but they're having issues getting those quotes. So what we've told them now is you need to show your due diligence, that you've tried to get 3, and you can only get 2, you can only get 1. As long as you show us that you've done your due diligence, we're not gonna hold that up and punish you for that, so.
Good thinking.
Is there a deadline? Is this
Not right now,
expired at
it's
some
open, it's a
point?
rolling application process, we don't have to have the money spent until the end of 2024, so we have time for sure,
Now, you referenced a committee that gave its approval. I assume, is that separate from the Borough Council? Does the
It's
Borough
their
Council play?
It's their economic development group, they have down there.
I
it's on the
see.
committee, yeah.
Did the Borough Council have to give them authorization to
That's
do
who they
this?
decided they wanted to use it as a program. When
I
David
understand.
Allen was there, that's how they went about appointing them.
Thank you. You've probably told us that, and I just needed to hear it a second time.
They're the ones who have the final approval, so,
Right.
our office, we get the applications, we make sure everything is there that we need for our purposes for grant reporting. Then I send everything to them, and they okay it. I work with Linda List, and we make sure if there's any permits needed, that Jeff Richardson's made aware of, and the applicant, when we send their award letter, it'll say you have a permit required, no work can start until after that's done.
Anybody else have questions for?
I see Chris Fry is here, and I know that he, as well as Angie Urban,
called
they've reached
Angie
out
this
to you
morning.
guys for the facade program for Newcastle, so I'm sure he'll have some questions for you after as well. Okay, great, very good, excellent. I know they're looking forward to getting involved with it as well. That's wonderful, very good.
Since you did, and I appreciate your pointing that out, Mayor, we already did our first public comment
City
period.
administrator, city administrator.
I still try.
Yeah, I can't break that. But with all due respect to Mayor Cameron. And we'll have another public comment period, but did you have something you wish to bring up? We'll open it up since Amy's here, and if there's anything you needed to bring up.
No, I think I obviously, want to come to you guys' meetings to hear more about what's going on throughout the county. We do have some projects that are on the table now, and just, facade being one of them, to hear how we can structure that. Amy's being helpful in meeting with Angie and myself to address those things. Same thing with the First Mayor building. So, we're just appreciative of you guys taking that time to work with us and identify what projects we can, do to help fix downtown and fix up Newcastle. So I don't have anything in particular today, just, here just be a part of your meeting and show support.
Very
We
good,
appreciate
yes.
that. And
Excellent.
they're still working on Washington Street, so I'm sure you sat in traffic.
Traffic again. And one day I'll remember to go the other way.
Before you go to stop back.
I gotta go the back way. I keep doing that every time.
You know, one of my bosses used to tell me when I was late and I had an excuse, he'd say, leave earlier.
There you go.
No, wait.
No, you're good.
The thing that's bad is when you think of the detour,
Too late.
Too
and
late.
you go around, or it's either too late or you go around, and there's another one, the road that you
another
were
one.
going to use, they're fixing that as well, so
It's
sometimes.
always too late. I'm there and I'm like, well, can't turn around now.
That's right. That's right.
I commit.
Better commit.
We do appreciate your joining us, Mr. Bureau.
Yeah, I gotta throw this in too. Pulling in the courthouse this morning, I was like, who the heck put a U-Haul van in my way? I couldn't even get into my parking space.
There he is,
I was
right
gonna get out and yell, and then I realized it was our election director, and I said, oh, okay, he's doing election business, so I had to go around the building twice to get into my parking spot too. Just teasing.
You just can't get there from here, right?
It's, there's the old joke in Pennsylvania, we have two seasons, winter and construction
Yeah.
season. We're in construction season, so.
So I take it you're here today to apologize to Mr. Bureau.
That, couple announcements.
We'll get to you very shortly. Well, Mayor Fry,
Thank you.
thank you so much. And we will have another public comment period before we adjourn. Thank you for joining us. Now, in all that discussion, I can't recall, did we take
I
a
don't know
motion?
what we did.
We need a motion.
The resolution would be resolution 139?
Correct.
I move for the adoption of resolution 139.
And I
Thank you,
will
sir.
second.
Thank you, madam. Any further comments or discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Steelvogel?
Yes.
Commissioner Buick?
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes,
Motion carries.
thanks, Vanessa. Amy, thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Amy.
Last week, you may recall, we opened bids. The controller, in his capacity, did the formal bid opening for two vehicles that we wish to sell. And those bids have been reviewed and they have come back to us in the form of this proposed resolution 140. The vehicles are a 1998 Club Ford wagon. The bid price was made in the amount of $102 by Mr. Sean McConaughey of 1575 Georgetown Road, Volant, PA, which is actually in Washington Township. And also the other vehicle, which is a 2000 Ford truck, Mr. McConaughey also bid $526 for that vehicle. He was the successful bidder on both of them. This resolution would then allow us to move forward to have Mr. McConaughey purchase those two vehicles at the prices listed. Any questions? Mr. Burek, any questions or concerns?
We actually voted on this last week, but we needed a formal resolution, so I'll move for its adoption to award. He was the only bidder on the one vehicle and the highest bidder on the other vehicle, so I move for its adoption.
Thank you.
I will second.
Thank you.
Yes.
Do you have any comments
No.
as well? Okay. And hearing that then, thank you both. We'll ask for a roll call.
Commissioner Steelvogel?
Yes.
Commissioner Buick?
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. I've been very anxious on this next one to hear from Commissioner Spielvogel. I want to thank her. She'll give us all the specifics, but you may recall we've had a number of meetings where we've talked about the opioid settlement dollars that have come to the county, as well as every other county in the Commonwealth. And we established an opioid advisory board that Commissioner Spielvogel graciously agreed to chair. And that board has been meeting now for a number of months in public. I'll ask her to give us some background, including the members, if you could remind us who the members are.
I just wrote them down.
And, thank you. And then you have
I'll have a brain freeze.
you have for us a proposal today for us to consider in terms of allocating some dollars. So I'm going to turn it over to you. I'm very anxious to hear
Thank you.
this.
Thank you. I'm very pleased that we're getting it, the monies out to the public at this point in time. As you recall, last year, we got awarded a certain amount of monies, I believe $6.4 million, to be utilized in opioid prevention, education, and treatment services. Those monies will be distributed over the course of 18 years. It seems like a long time, but a lot of the monies will be front-loaded, so to speak, with the first couple of years. And for this year, we were awarded quite a large sum of money. There were two tranches last year, I'm sorry, this is 2023, last year we were awarded 2 tranches of money. We have another tranche of money that will be coming in for this year. But in order for us to spend those monies, each county, the money was awarded directly to the counties. Each county had to find their way to distribute the monies. We in Lawrence County chose to create an opioid advisory board. And the board, and we voted on this formally at a meeting. The board consists of myself as a county commissioner, Joe Vanasco as our county administrator, our president judge, Dominic Motto, our district attorney, Josh Lamacusa, our director of MHDS, Scott Baldwin, our director of Children and Youth Services, John Bout, and our Drug and Alcohol Commission director Becky Abramson. So we, several months ago, decided as our advisory board to ask for applications to be submitted that fell in line with the rules and regulations that the Opioid Settlement Trust Fund Board put together in order for us to be able to accept applications. We chose to do that. We actually made it open-ended as long as they complied with what is Schedule E. And there's a variety of different activities to support the services, whether they be treatment, prevention, or education, that a person and or group or entity could apply for and the monies could be used for. We had an application process that started in, I believe, February 1st and ended March 31st. And in the course of that application process, we did receive 9 or 10 applications. I can't remember if we combined the two of them, the two APO and CYS together or not. But that being said, we did receive the applications. We had a work session. They were reviewed by the Opioid Advisory Board. We had a public meeting last Tuesday. It is our regularly scheduled public meeting, the first Tuesday of every month at noon here in our meeting room. And at that point in time, we took a vote to award monies to the list that I will announce, if that's okay to go ahead and announce the list with the amount of monies that were awarded to them. After discussion, some grant applicants were awarded the full amount that they applied for. Others were given different amounts depending upon how the advisory board felt that the requests fell in line with what we were looking for this year. And I say that because it's a brand new program, it's a brand new allotment, and the counties were given a lot of free rein to develop their own programming to fit their county needs. And I think that's what makes it so unique, that the trust actually allows us as Lawrence County to utilize the monies as we see fit, because we don't compare with an Allegheny County or Philadelphia or Erie or Scranton or any other area that is any area throughout Pennsylvania. So that did allow us to pick and choose how we wanted to fund the programming. I'm very pleased to say that the applicants listed, and I believe it's a total of a bit over $285,000 that we did award in this grant cycle. I will say that there will be additional grant cycles that will come through this year because we do have monies still in our fund, and we will be receiving additional monies before the end of this year. Our idea is not to keep the monies. Our idea is to distribute the monies to assist in any type of opioid prevention, education, or treatment that we can assist our residents of Lawrence County with. Because as we all know, and I believe last year we had 89 opioid overdose deaths. And at a meeting that I was at late last week, I believe we are at 41 opioid deaths already this year. I will double check on that figure. I thought it was kind of high, but considering that the situation that we're in, it's not surprising if it is that exact number. So that's an unfortunate thing that we have to deal with. But I am pleased today to say that we are awarding $50,000 to Glade Run Lutheran Services, $100,000 to the Lawrence County DUI Services, $78,750.50 to Vision Ministries of Lawrence County, PA, $25,000 to the Lawrence County Coroner's Office, $20,000 to the Lawrence County Firefighters and Fire Chiefs Association, $17,500 to the Mahoney Township Police Department, and a combined amount to the Adult Probation Office and Children and Youth Services youth services for mandatory drug testing of $16,000. So I would like to present those numbers to the board, and I would make that motion that we accept these applications and move forward to the distribution of these funds.
This is proposed resolution 141. Do you wish to second it?
I second the motion and do have one question.
Certainly.
First, I want to thank Commissioner Spillvogel and the other members of the advisory committee. I did attend one of their public meetings. Thank them. I know they put a lot of time and effort into it. Just for our knowledge, are you able to tell us in maybe one sentence or a few words, the first 6, what the plan to use the money for is? Please.
I was going to offer, even just copies of the applications.
Okay, well, that's fine. I can do that later, or if you can just summarize real briefly.
Absolutely. Absolutely, I certainly will. Wayborn Lutheran Services, that is our, give me the title, Family Sustainability Program that we are in the process of opening up for, to assist children and youth services with reunification of families at the, at YDC, the Fruit Mill campus that was formerly YDC. The Lawrence County DUI Services, we are assisting them with their programming because in the course of it's Lawrence County DUI Services, where before it was the DUIs, the actual driving under the influence of alcohol and other drugs. Now it is more opioid related that the clients are coming in for, and unfortunately they are not capable of making the payments that need to be made due to their illness, the opioid addictions that they have. So they are running low on funding because of that, and we are assisting them. And this amount will be able to assist them for many years to come to make that a solid program that we certainly need to continue to have in Lawrence County. Vision Ministries, I could go on and talk about that program. It is very near and dear to my heart. I know the work that they do. I actually have worked with the group of people that are involved with putting on the programs at the different schools, speaking with the students, the staff, the faculty. They're at different organizations. They do great work in bringing to light the devastating effects of the opioid addicted person, as well as how it affects the families. The coroner's office is certainly, it goes without saying the amount of monies that are needed to handle the additional deaths and related to opioids. The Firefighters and Fire Chiefs Association, this is to be used for their training, and it is the county Fire Chiefs and Firefighters Association. So it's not that it's going to one particular fire department. This is for training that is mandatory for firefighters to go through in order to keep their certifications, and then also to get any necessary training needed to when you're tending to a victim, knowing how to use Narcan, replacing the Narcan, anything that they would need to assist them in that situation. The Mahoney Township Police Department, this is to upgrade their vehicle communication systems, the laptops that they have, so that it is easier for them to run a license plate and or identify someone and know whether or not they are, if there's an open warrant for them, or if they have previous convictions related to opioid use. And as explained before, adult probation and children and youth services, they're having to deal with the clientele for the mandatory drug testing that does happen. The hair follicle testing is really pinpoints what the chemical composition that may turn up in their bloodstream and in the hair follicle. It gets to the point where if it's an opioid, it can identify that, and then they can make the arrangements for treatment and or placement of the children if necessary to be removed from the home. I hope that didn't confuse anybody, but
Thank you for that explanation. And again,
Sure.
thank you for all the time and effort you put into this
Absolutely.
issue.
Everyone, we take it very seriously, and I applaud just the dedication that all of us, even everyone throughout the community, just being involved with this and wanting to do what we can do for the community, because I know I can say that there isn't a single person in Lawrence County that hasn't been affected in one way or another with the opioid crisis. So, thank you.
I would concur with Mr. Burek. You've put a lot of time and effort into this, and we appreciate your leadership role. Let me apologize. When you were listing the names of the members, did you note both Judge Motto and Mr. Lamancusa?
I did.
Thank you. I apologize.
No, that's fine. No,
But
because I counted to make sure I had all 7 of us listed there. No problem. I had to double check myself.
again, as you noted, this is the first go around, and there will be
Yes.
more to come most likely.
There will be.
Okay.
Because like I said before, our thought process is not to keep money in the bank. We want to get the money out into the community so that we can assist in any way that we can. That's the purpose of the monies coming in.
So the board will continue to meet on the first
The first
Tuesday of the
Tuesday
month.
of the month at noon
Okay,
here.
that'll continue.
Yes.
Okay, great.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And so we do have, I believe, a motion and a second that have been made for the passage of proposed resolution 141. If there is no further discussion, I'm going to ask Vanessa to call the roll.
Commissioner Steelvogel?
Yes.
Commissioner Buick?
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Once again, thank you so very
Thank
much.
you.
I'm gonna digress here for just a second, and I'm gonna catch you off guard with this. I noticed that Mr. Germaini is in the audience. He is the director of our voter services office. And I'm very sensitive to the fact that both Commissioner Spielvogel and I are candidates. As such, we're off of the election board by law. We're not allowed to be on the election board. And even though you may be here for another reason not pertinent to the elections, what I'd like to do, just to keep it clean, I'm going to ask Mr. Burek to temporarily chair this meeting, if he'd be willing to recognize you for whatever it is you want to bring before us. But I think just to make sure there's that separation, if you don't mind. If you follow what I'm saying.
Hand me the gavel.
Which I never use. I used it once. I only used it once, but there you are.
Just in case.
Should we go sit down there, Dan? You and
Well,
I.
you're temporarily chairing this board. What are your wishes?
First, I'd like to recognize Mr. Germaini. Do you have any announcements related to the upcoming primary election?
I have 3, and it's just about dates. I just want to say that today is the last, should I sit up?
Please. Excuse me, you're supposed to say that. I'm sorry.
Please speak into the microphone.
Yes, sir. Today is the last day for mail-in applications to be in the office. We will be open till 5. So if anybody needs to get their application in to get a mail-in ballot, today is the last day. I'll have a public test on Friday if anybody's interested on that. That'll start at 10 a.m. Here on by the office, and then I'll take them to IT to show them the central scanners. And then, of course, there's election day coming up. On the 16th, polls open from 7 to 8. And that's all. It's just reminding everybody to get their apps in if they need it.
Thank you. I will use county's website and social media to get that word out today that anyone needs a mail-in ballot should apply by the end of business today.
5 o'clock.
At 5 o'clock.
Yes. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. I'll turn the gavel back over to Commissioner Vogel.
Thank you. I really appreciate your doing that. I just felt just more comfortable to do it that way. I'm sorry I caught you off guard. Thank you.
He handled it well.
Yes, he did. Certainly he did. Next, we'll come back to the printed agenda. We have a proposed transfer coming from the commissioner's contingency into the maintenance department line item for materials and supplies. And this is a proposed transfer of $22,000. I'm gonna put Joe on the spot now.
Absolutely.
Joe, we got some news that really raised our eyebrows, but it's just indicative of what inflation is doing to us. Would you mind filling us in on why we have to make this transfer?
Absolutely. Usually on about a quarterly basis, we order copy paper from the vendor. And we put that out, we get the best possible price each quarter. We're not under contract with any one provider. Unfortunately, when we went through this quarter, the same amount of paper that we've always ordered, it doubled in price. And in a lot of cases, in a lot of locations, it more than doubled in price. Typically, we spend in the ballpark of between $6,000 and $6,500 for courthouse and courthouse employees, that our offices to have the copy paper. It went up by the bid that we received for this time. The cheapest price we received was $11,800.
And that's per quarter.
Yes, we order it about every three months, as needed, but I think it usually comes about every 3 months. So
What you're proposing then with this $22,000 transfer, your hope is that'll get us through the end of the calendar year, end of the budget cycle.
that's correct. We went to 22,000 with the hopes that would get us through the end of the year and this budget by making this transfer. So we weren't coming back in 3 months and asking for more money at that time or for a transfer at that time.
Well, Joe, thank you for staying on top of this. I'll see if Mr. Burek has any questions.
No questions.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Spielvogel?
No questions.
Okay, thank you. Again, it's just indicative of the times in which we find ourselves right now as far as costs. This would be proposed resolution 142. I would ask for a motion if someone is so willing.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you both. Any further comments or discussion? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Spielvogel?
Yes.
Commissioner Buick?
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes?
Motion carries.
Thank you. The next two are administrative transfer proposals coming from the planning office. And they're listed on the agenda as A and B, and in our documents, they're all on one page. What we're looking at is a total transfer of $87,370. $66,370 of that is coming from the Community Development Block Grant CV3 administration line item, and that $66,370 is being transferred to CDBG-CV3 Public Facilities. And then we're asking, or the planning office is asking for a $21,000 transfer from the CDBG CV3 Teams line item into the CDBG CV3 Public Facilities line item. Amy, I appreciate that you've stuck around in case either Loretta or Brian would have any questions. So I can't remember which order I'm going in. Loretta, questions for Amy?
No, other than thank you for keeping all of this straight, because I know you are, 3 years back? Different things happening or going on and moving monies and completing programs. So thank you for keeping everything straight.
Thank you. Mr. Burek, any questions for Amy?
Just refresh my memory, this public facilities is what specifically?
That is the YDC, the Fruit Mill campus.
Okay.
Yep, so kind of what Loretta was talking about earlier, the Glade Run facility up
Gotcha.
there.
Yeah.
That, and then the TEAMS is the Temporary Emergency Assistance Through Meals program. We're not eliminating that program, it's just that we projected out when we need to spend the money by, we had that much money that we wouldn't be able to spend based off the people that have applied into the program. So we're moving that to the public facilities to help with the continued work up there, which again, I know Jennifer Elliott would like all three of you to come up and tour, so I can schedule that for after the election. I know you guys would really like it to see how much work they've done out there, so.
I would very much like to see that. Thank you for that information.
It will be interesting for you to see
Yeah,
since
see what else
last
there is.
time with.
It's gonna be a lot of memory lane down here,
Yes,
coming back to the
yes.
courthouse, going back to the
Yeah.
grounds of YDC where I taught for many years.
Amy, thank you for that explanation, greatly appreciated. May I have a motion for approval of this transfer request?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you both. Any other discussion? If not, I'll ask for a roll call, please.
Commissioner Spielvogel?
Yes.
Commissioner Buick?
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes?
Motion carries.
Thank you. We still have one resolution on the table, and unless there's a motion to move it forward, it can stay there. Couple of announcements. The commissioners will not be meeting a week from today. Next Tuesday is Election Day, and traditionally in Lawrence County, the Board of Commissioners does not meet on Election Day. We noted, I think, last week, some courthouses actually close on Election Day, which is, I find unusual because you still have people coming and going. But anyhow, so the next time this board will meet, unless there's an emergency, which we hope there won't be, the next regularly scheduled meeting is Tuesday, May 23 at 10 a.m. in this room. The County Planning Commission will be meeting tomorrow in public, Wednesday, May 10 at noon at Grill on the Hill Restaurant, which is on Wilmington Road in Neshannock Township. Mr. Burek chairs the Board of Elections, and that board will be meeting on Monday, May 15 at 10 a.m. It's a public meeting, and that will be held in this room. Mr. Burek's colleagues are Mr. Frank Piccari and Attorney Jack Seltzer. That meeting is open to the public. And then the Prison Board, which is chaired by Commissioner Spielvogel, their regular meeting is scheduled for Wednesday, May 17 at 12 noon in this room. Those are the announcements. Before we adjourn, I will see if anyone has public comment or questions. Hearing none. I'll ask my colleagues if closing comments. Loretta? Brian, any closing comments?
None.
Okay, thank you. Vanessa or Joe, anything we've missed? Hopefully not. All right, well, we appreciate everybody joining us today, and thanks for everybody's input. I will entertain an adjournment motion.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same sign. The motion carries. The meeting is adjourned. Can somebody, we'll have to
Thank you.
discontinue the computer there. Thank you all.